Hello everyone and welcome to Sparta Media Group Studios. I'm Todd Romero alongside Vern, Earwoood, and I'm excited about this one. We're getting set for Sparta 104. It is Colorado's largest combat sports event ever, Blood and Glory. It will take place at FCU Arena up in Loveland, Colorado. And I'm telling you what, Vern, I'm pumped about this one because it will be our introduction of Bare Knuckle Boxing, which is exploding across the country. Now, Sparta Sports and Entertainment has done it before, but it's been in Wyoming. But this will be the first time that we do it in Colorado.
Absolutely, Todd. We've been super excited for this opportunity for a very long time. We've done it in Wyoming, like you said before. We're back here in Colorado. Other promotions have brought it here, but it's just not the same whenever it's a homegrown product. We're bringing Bare Knuckle. I'm stepping back into the ring for the first time in 5 years. No wraps on these hands.
And that's right. Alongside being the director of fight operations, you will be fighting in this one. And I know you've been training hard. We spent some time together a couple of weeks ago at your workouts. How's it been for you? How's getting back into it, not only mentally, and I guess you really won't tell until you get actually into the ring.
Absolutely. You know, I've been putting in a lot of hard work. You know, whenever you guys came, we did the all access piece. At that time, you've seen that I've been working, I've been training. You know, but I get up every day, I'm monitoring my food intake, I'm making sure that I'm getting my training time in, you know, I'm getting my rounds in with my guys, you know, I'm taking this serious like I was that athlete 20 years ago. I'm just ready to get in there, I'm ready to put on a show, I'm ready to have a lot of fun.
You know, you take a look at the Bare Knuckles, and the main event will be Dan Wilson involved in that main event going up against Martin. And Dan Wilson, he's a guy that is, it reminds me a lot of LT Nelson because he fights so many different ways, and this will be his first venture into bare knuckle, but he's fought in so many Thai tournaments, and he's fought in so many tournaments that really lend strength to bare knuckle.
Absolutely. Dan Wilson, he actually most recently fought in a bare knuckle Muay Thai bout. So he's got a little bit of experience there. He's fought everywhere in the world. He's one of those old hardcore strikers that's just ready for any fight, any opponent, anytime, anywhere. Like you said, you know, much like LT Nelson, former Sparta fighter, world bare knuckle champion right now, I believe 3-time champion, taking on a young Bruce Martin who's eager to get into that ring in the main event and see what he can do.
Yeah, Wilson was telling me about the Kartuk fight, which when you look at that, he said, really, he's looking for the forward bare knuckles because he thinks it's going to be better for him because when you wrap your hands on those ropes, they can really do a lot of damage as far as scraping and cutting. Not that bare knuckle cannot, but that's what he's looking forward to really free flowing with that.
Yeah, me and Dan have had a lot of conversations. I mean, I've been a longtime fan of Dan Wilson's. You know, he shared the same sentiment with me. He said he's excited to watch me fight. It seems like a lot of people are, but yeah, you just nailed it right on the head, you know, by these bare knuckles, they're gonna cut, they're gonna hurt, you know, but whenever you got hand wraps on anyway, there's a little bit more damage that can take place. You know, different points of the hand, you know, now we're just wrapping the metacarpals, wrapping the wrists, and letting the fist do the talking.
And I know a lot of guys wanted to be on this card, and it was very important because Sparta, to me, has become, you know, really nationwide, the premier. I think it's more than just a regional event. We pull fighters from all around the world, and you take a look at these bare knuckle fights, it really is a special time. I mean, it is also going to be the first time since the Pepsi Center, and I think it was 2018, where we had multiple fights going on at once.
Absolutely. We're starting out the show with a number of concurrent fights. You know, there's going to be 14 fights to run in a 7-fight slot. You know, and that's just absolutely insane, but it's something that we do. It's what Sparta does. You know, like you said, we haven't done it since 2018. We're going to start the house out that way. Now, I want to touch base on a moment where you said we bring fighters in from all over the world. Our co-main event, we've got Danny Mitchell, Big Danny Mitchell, taking on UK bare knuckle veteran coming over from England and Ash Gibson.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at that and you look at the type of fighters, because they know, I mean, look at Yusuf Zalal right now as a perfect example of what Sparta Sports and Entertainment can do. I mean, Yusuf Zalal loses his contract in the UFC. What does he do? He comes back down to Sparta Sports and Entertainment, fights 3 times, gets 3 incredible finishes, goes back up, and I believe he's now 2 or 3-0 since he's been back in the UFC.
Yeah, he hasn't lost a fight since he won our last Pro King of Sparta tournament. You know, had 3 incredible finishes, like you said. Got that call from Sean Shelby. They got the videotape, said, man, let's give Yusuf a call. Let's get him back up here.
You know, as director of fight operations, I think with you and Jeff, when you guys collaborate, I think one of the great things about it is when people watch fights, they want to see something new. The King of Sparta has been something that I talk to LT all the time. he still talks about how much he enjoys the King of Sparta tournament and how much it meant to his career. For Dustin Jacoby, again, a guy, King of Sparta launched him. So now we bring Bare Knuckle to Sparta Sports and Entertainment, and it's just another added layer that you guys keep coming up with that make these shows all the more special for the fans.
Absolutely. You said it's another added layer. That's what it is. Don't think the way that me and Jeff collaborate and talk that we're not already talking about. How do we include Bare Knuckle into this King of Sparta tournament? You know, it's something that could happen in time. We're working out some details. This last year, we debuted our first King of Strikers tournament along the same rule set where, you know, our young elimination fighters fought boxing, kickboxing, and Muay Thai. You know, now we're looking at gearing it towards our next pro tournament like that, where the fight's going to end with a bare knuckle fight, probably a bare knuckle knockout.
And you just brought something up, and one thing you have to have is a great relationship with the Colorado Commission. You have to have that to be able to bring some of this. And Sparta's shown time and time again that they come through with what they say they're going to do, and the commission trusts Jeff. And I think what the great thing about it is, you look at this card, like many of our other cards, you're going to have kickboxing, you're going to have bare knuckle, you're going to have MMA, you're going to have Muay Thai. There's a little bit of everything for everybody, and I think that's what keeps our cards so exciting and so people wanting to attend the events so much, is because of the variety.
Well, 15 years ago, whenever Jeff had this genius idea to say, hey, I want to be a combat sports promoter, he never stepped out there to throw his hat into the ring and say, I want to be a boxing promoter, I want to be a mixed martial arts promoter, I want to be a kickboxing or Muay Thai promoter. He didn't do that. What he said was, I want to be a combat sports promotion, an organization. Sparta being the largest regional promotion, you know, going national again, becoming a national brand.
Oh, yeah.
We've absolutely stepped out there to take the bull, you know, figuratively by the horns, to say, you know what, we are running the show. We are offering now bare knuckle on top of what we already offer in mixed martial arts, in Muay Thai, in boxing, you know, including the bare knuckle boxing now, kickboxing. We're bringing all fighters, the best fighters across the country, amateur or pro, out here to Colorado or whatever state we choose to set up in next to test their skills and see if they got what it takes.
And kind of to drive that point home, this is like the largest card in Colorado sports history, and I know 4 or 5 fighters that really wanted to be on this card, and for whatever reason, sometimes it just doesn't work out, whether it's matchups, whether it's, you know, cross-train, whatever it is. But there's so many fighters that want to be on the Sparta cards because they've seen 50, 60 fighters that have gone to that next level from Sparta.
And that's what we do here. You know, we are in the business of elevating these fighters, you know, getting them moving up the ranks and up the ladder the way that they need to. And like you just pinpointed, we've sent fighters to the UFC, we've sent fighters to ONE FC, we've sent fighters to Bellator, we've sent fighters to the Pro Fight League, we've sent fighters through Sparta and Sparta brands at every major promotion, every major level in the world. And we've done it at a successful rate where they've won titles, they've won, you know, put themselves in #1 contender spots, you know, Pro Fight League, you know, throughout the tournament style, everything else, to where that's what we have done in the past, is what we're going to continue to do moving forward. Now we're just adding a little bit more to the table.
Well,
you know?
And I think the fighters know that those organizations have their eyes on Sparta because of the fighters that we bring. And I mean, and let's be honest, Colorado is becoming one of the fight capitals of the world.
Absolutely. Right here in Denver, we've got probably 3 or 4 of the world's top 10 recognized gyms. You know, between high altitude martial arts, we've got Factory X, you know, we've got some major fighters come out of here. Genesis over there with Coach Jake Ramos, you know, and it's like Colorado is loaded with fighters, you know, no matter what part of the state that you go to. But right here between Fort Collins, Denver down to Pueblo, we're the train right here. We're the mixed martial arts and fight capital, and we're happy to kind of take that our place on that mantle.
Let me ask about the concurrent bouts. So when you look at the concurrent bouts and you look at who's fighting on there, if you're going to be a fan, not that you're going to glance at all of them at different times, but is there one here or two that stick out that fans you may want to pay attention to?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, number one, the fans want to try and pay attention the best they can to every one of these fights. But with concurrent fights, naturally, you can't watch everything. You can't watch all the action. You're going to have a fight going on in the ring at the same time that a fight is taking place in the cage. All mixed martial arts fights will be in the cage. All kickboxing, Muay Thai, boxing, and bare knuckle boxing fights will be in the ring.
Okay.
But some of these that, you know, the fans want to really kind of pay attention to is, you know, we've got great young fighters, you know, such as Caroline O'Shang, mixing it up in kickboxing now. She has fought on main cards for Sparta before, and she's opening up the show in fight #1.
Yeah,
you know, we've got other fighters who are just absolute iron heads and war horses for Sparta, like Devin Sakuka, fighting a concurrent fight, who has fought on multiple main cards. And the kid's tough as nails. He's willing to fight anybody, anytime. But naturally, like you said, a lot of fighters wanted to be on this fight card. Not everybody could make the cut, not because they didn't have the talent, not because we couldn't give them or offer them a fight, but even having and hosting the largest fight card in Colorado's history, we got to put a cap somewhere so that we can continue to move forward. So all those fighters know January 18th is next, March is coming up. We're rolling right into 2025 with the same style, the same badassery that we offer, and we're going to keep doing this.
Yeah, and I know you guys are on the cards saying, hey, when's the next Sparta card? When's the next Sparta card? So that's the kind of the reputation that we've built, that Jeff has built. I've been around for a while. JR will be on the microphone again with me.
Absolutely.
And by the way, shout out to JR. I mean, he's been unbelievable lately. I think that guy has lost like 200 pounds or something like that. He's training like you.
He's a phenomenal man. We all know that. JR, in all of these years with Sparta, he's never once missed a Colorado show. He's an Iron Man. He's sat at every event. He's hosted and commented and commentated and done write-ups. I mean, that guy is amazing. And now to see his weight loss journey, like you said, nearly 200 pounds. He's bringing down the weight. He's a healthy guy. He's getting back to where he's feeling good. Makes me wonder. I mean, I'm an old guy now. If JR is maybe going to say, hey, let's dance a little bit. You never know.
Hey, before we take a break, I want to talk a little bit more about you. And we did a feature on Vern, so make sure to check out all Sparta Sports and Entertainment, anything Sparta on our social media channels, be it Instagram, Facebook, whatever the case may be. We did a piece on Vern that I was fortunate enough to be out at. And really, for you, this is a special time because it is Veterans Weekend. You were a Marine. So this is kind of a special time for you that you're really representing more than just yourself.
I'm definitely representing a lot more than just myself, Todd, but I got to correct you there. There's no were a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine.
Oh, gotcha.
Always a Marine.
Semper
Once
Fi.
a Marine, always a Marine. That's right. Semper Fi. We live and die by that motto because we're always faithful. That's what we do. It's who we are. But going into this weekend, Veterans Weekend, it's such an exciting time. I'm stepping in there with so many purposes and goals, to come out with. Win or lose, I'm going to give my best. But I'm going in there, carrying the weight of brothers and sisters, who are also veterans, who have fought for this country, and did what was asked of them.
Right.
And Veterans Weekend is just such an important time of the year for so many people throughout the country. I would say the majority of the country. And, a great thing for me being a Marine is following November 9th, our fight card, we roll right into the Marine Corps birthday. That's the most important holiday of the year. Yeah. Marine Corps birthday, and then we got Veterans Day. So it's a loaded weekend, and I got a lot of pride, a lot of, honor that I take personally and being able to step back in there.
Myers is going to be your opponent. You're going to be about, what's the age difference there? You're almost 47, right?
Almost 47. I'm just a couple of months shy of that right now. My opponent, William Myers, badass Billy. He's a big kid, almost 22 years younger than me. So I mean, I'm giving up a whole lot of years there to youth. He's a big kid. He's got a little bit of size on me, but I'm excited. I'm excited to welcome him to Sparta. Excited to welcome him to Colorado. We've had some minor conversations just because I try to be a friendly guy. It doesn't matter if we're going to mix it up. And I mean, he's just he's a quality opponent. I'm excited to kind of bring him out here and show him the difference in how we fight for Sparta.
Well, the bottom line, too, is you see at the end of every fight just about how, with the respect, guys, it's such a very small part of two guys that really hate each other anymore.
Yeah.
You don't see it very often. Hey, I'm not saying it's bad when it happens, right, for the fight fans, but it doesn't happen. There's a lot of respect out there because I think fighters know what it takes to get here. And if you've got the balls enough to get in and bare knuckle fight, you're making a commitment to you, but you got to respect your opponent as well.
Oh, 100%. I mean, martial arts is driven upon respect and discipline and learning that. And, it's like my opponent personally, he's a very respectful young man. He's got a lot of experience, so he's going to bring me a fight. You said a moment ago, and you're absolutely correct. It's not very often that you see fighters have any type of real hostility between the two anymore until maybe weigh-ins before the fight day. Everybody's a little bit grumpy, a little bit cranky. They've been cutting some weight, a little bit hungry, and they're ready to, hey, let's look each other in the eye, let's get out of here, And sometimes, some attitude can boil over a little bit. But at the end of the day, we all hug each other's neck, we all shake each other's hand. You know, me and my opponent, we're gonna get out there, we're gonna mix it up real well. Told him afterwards, first drinks on me, and then we're gonna celebrate.
All right, Sparta 104, Blood and Glory coming up. Time for a break. When we come back, we'll talk more about the preliminary card and the main card and a couple of the main events. Back in a moment.
Welcome everybody to Castle Rock Hormone Health. This is in our clinic in Fort Collins, soon to be open as well in Broomfield. We also are open in Greeley. We're all about optimizing hormones, testosterone replacement therapy, bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, and just getting you to feel vital and improve longevity. So I'm excited to see you here. All right everybody, this is the rest of our clinic here. This will be here where we go do our initial intake, what's called an ADAM. For women, it would be called an ADAL. It's called an Androgen Deficiency Questionnaire for men or women. So where we see where you're at, go through your health journey, any symptoms you might be experiencing, and how we can get you optimized, improve longevity, improve your hormones, all the above. A lot of modalities to do so. And as well, we've got our in-body scan here, which looks at all your body metrics, skeletal muscle mass, body fat percentage. And so we will track this throughout your treatment as you melt away the body fat, improve your muscle mass, improve longevity, and we walk you along the path of doing so. And now I would go down a little further here. We've got just to the left here is where we do all of our lab work in-house. We've got great medical assistants. We do labs, initial labs, follow-up labs. We keep really good track of all your health metrics, very comprehensive hormone panel, bioidentical hormones all used, so we track everything. Just make sure we're mitigating any side effects, optimizing the effects, all that good stuff.
Welcome back to Sparta Media Group Studios. Todd Romero alongside Vern Earwoood, the Director of Fight Operations, and also fighting on this card. It will be Colorado's largest combat sports card at Blue FCU Arena in Loveland. I'll tell you what, this one is going to be a barn burner. Do not miss it. If you can't get tickets and you can't get there, buy the pay-per-view, because I promise you're going to be entertained for hours in this one, because there are some great fights going on. We've already talked to you about being simultaneous fights, first time since Pepsi Center since 2018, and bringing you bare knuckle fighting for the first time in Sparta in Colorado. Done it in Wyoming several times. First time in Colorado. But let's talk about the main card. Let's talk about the first fight on the main card.
Yeah, the first fight on the main card. We've got Jacob Kreidel coming down from Montana to take on highly touted and very talented Samuel Henriquez, who trains with Rich Morquecho. Samuel had a great run as an amateur here in Colorado. Yeah. He went 4-0, won 2 titles in his steed, beat some top talent along the way, you know, as an amateur. Now he's ready to make that pro debut, and he's taking on a veteran in Jacob Kreidel, who you know, has 7 pro fights. So it's a big step up that tree.
Yeah, it is a big step up that tree. And I think, you know, even on, you know, I try to describe sometimes to people, and I kind of put it in baseball terms. For Sparta Sports Entertainment, you have the single A, the double A, the triple A. Yep. Those triple A guys are ready to springboard into the main event. But when we see some guys that come on the scene that are brand new, it's amazing the talent that we see. And then you see these names that we've seen fight now that are on this main card. It's kind of amazing. And you look at the next fight. I mean, this next one with Lalone and Ortiz is going to be a barn burner.
Oh, it's absolutely going to be a barn burner. You know, we got Christopher Lalone, who's won the Sparta King of Sparta tournament. You know, he stepped in there, had two fast finishes in his first two fights, but then had a war in the third fight.
Yeah.
You know, with another highly touted fighter here, Miguel Barrientos. But his opponent, Jano Ortiz, you know, he's taken on probably one of the top 5 Muay Thai fighters at the elimination level in the country right now. Whereas he's in that top 5 as well. So you're looking at a fight that's at the elimination amateur level that could absolutely be on any pro card in the world.
Yeah. I mean, some of these guys that are throwing are going to be guys that you've seen before on Sparta, guys that you've seen on other fight scenes, and fortunately are on the Sparta card. All right, this next one I'm getting ready for. Again, you know, follow Sparta Sports Entertainment, Sparta Media Group, because we put our features out there and our all-access pieces. And I had the pleasure of both Riley Colburn and Dotson meeting both these ladies. And I cannot wait for this fight. Dodson, a little more experienced. Riley's younger, but I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, Monique Dodson, our current 115-pound champion, she's just a one-person, one-woman wrecking machine. I mean, she's absolutely laid waste to everybody who's fought her.
Yeah.
Her last opponent when she won the title was very experienced, you know, much more experienced than she was. And she went out and finished her in the second round, you know, and kind of made it look like she wasn't quite at the same level that she should have been for a title fight. Coming up, #1 challenger, Riley Colburn. She is absolutely one of the hardest young ladies to match in this division in the state of Colorado and in the country.
Right.
She's been offered a number of fights before she was offered this title fight, and every fighter who has said, yeah, I'll take that fight, either backed out last minute or just suddenly decided to quit responding to any type of correspondence. So Riley Colburn at 18 years old getting ready to take on Monique Dodson with a whole lot more experience, but that right there is a high runner for potential fight of the night.
Well, and when you take a look at Riley Colburn, she's been in the gym since she's been 5-6 years old, and then at 13 years old in the gym. You know, she had to wait till 18 years old to be able to do MMA, and that was one thing that she was, you know, chomping at the bit for. She says, don't let that fool you. I've got plenty of experience.
She's got plenty of experience. Like you said, she's been in the gym since she was a young age. She was able to compete, you know, or start to compete in kickboxing, Muay Thai, some grappling tournaments, you know, before she hit 18. At 18, she took the mixed martial arts world, the cage, by storm.
Right.
You know, had some great highlight, you know, things that could have ended any fighter really in that, you know. But the intriguing thing about this, and I don't know if this is a fact that you know, Todd, but neither one of these women have ever lost a round. In any of their competition, any of their fights, their kickboxing fights, their Muay Thai fights, neither one of these girls has ever taken a step back. Neither one of them has ever lost.
Well, guess what? I gained a little bit of knowledge. I may use that on Fight Night. By the way, this is one of the features, one of the all-access features you can see on Sparta. And Dodson wanted me to make sure that everybody knew that she shares the same birthday as Bruce Lee.
That's
so,
amazing.
How about that little fact?
Well, you know, I know, having gotten to know Monique Dodson, I know that she's a Bruce Lee fan. Now that would explain it, sharing that birthday.
Yeah.
But I believe I've seen, because I watched her all access piece, how she had mentioned, you know, be like water.
Yeah.
Be like water, flow. You know, that's what she does. And she's an impressive young fighter. We're excited for that fight. Riley Colburn's coming to test the waters and see if she can take that title away, but that's going to be a very high potential fight of the night, right?
Well, the next one too is Lozano and Alirez, and I think this is for the 155-pound MMA title. And anytime you have an Alirez in there, to me, you're going to have a bomb of a fight, and Lozano is a hell of a fighter as well.
Absolutely. You know, that's going to be another great fight. That's now a vacated title, vacated by our former champion, Miguel Barrientos, who's looking to take his next step pro. Thomas Lozano, he cross-trains and works with Miguel now a little bit. So, I mean, he's definitely upped his game. You know, his coaches, they used to talk to me and say, Vern, we got to get this kid going. We got to get him a fight. He's the best 0-2 kid we've ever seen. And then he ripped off three fast wins, three fast first-round finishes, and started struggling to find opponents. Nobody wanted to step in there with him. Zeke Alirez, on the other hand, like you said, anytime you have an Alirez in there, you know you've got a fight, potential fight of the night, you know, with any of them. You know, they got a lot of family who's fought for Sparta over the years. Many of them have held titles, fought for titles, and that's just another guy right now sitting with his record, sitting with his experience. He's fought the who's who in that division, fought Miguel Barrientos previously before, you know, getting another opportunity at this title fight. That's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, and I think when you take a look at this too, it shows it builds the character. And we talked about how many people Sparta has sent on to Bellator, PFL, UFC, the big fights, which, I think more and more Sparta is being recognized as one of the top places that the bigger promotions, UFC and Bellator and PFL, go for, is because we bring that style of fighter and the guys they're training with at their gyms. It's the talent around here. These guys, how many times have you seen Corey Sandhagen in a Sparta Sports and Entertainment ring? We do it all the time.
They're training with the who's who and the best of the best here in Colorado that has been on the largest stages. You're absolutely right. Corey Sandhagen, we love him. He's fought for Sparta. He went on to bigger things, currently in the UFC and a top 3 fighter in the world in his division. Has been at the recent Sparta shows cornering his young fighters, bringing his young fighters like Owen Schultz. He's got a few more coming up, that we've talked about. They'll be on early 2025 shows, so people will see more Corey back at the Sparta shows. Yeah,
we got some guys coming over from Genesis, I know, that are excited to get on there. Another title fight I want to talk about, and I'm looking at the 185-pound MMA title, and a lot of hype here because he is a former UNC wrestler, and Xavier Vasquez taking on Christopher Conway. He's just a savage from Vegas. This is another one of those fights where people do not want to miss it.
Absolutely. Xavier Vasquez, he's a highly touted wrestler out of UNC. He is another one of those fighters that trains with the Aliras, kind of prospects there. And, with Boo Aliras doing everything that he has, he's been in Xavier's corner the last couple of fights. He's definitely stepped up his talent, his skill set. He's looking like a killer. He's ready for a title fight. Christopher Conway, he trains with Sparta Hall of Famer, Chris Trammell, who has put on absolute wars in our ring, wars in our cage. And Christopher Conway has laid waste to everybody that stepped in front of him. He's an undefeated fighter coming from Vegas, looking for that Sparta title, taking on the number 1 185-pound middleweight in Xavier Vasquez here in Colorado.
Wow, another great fight that we're going to talk about is those two, and hopefully we'll be talking about that fight after we see it happen, because I'm looking forward to that one.
Absolutely. It's going to be another great fight, and a fight card that's just loaded with title fights and bare knuckle fights.
Let's talk about the co-main event. This one will be Bare Knuckle Boxing, 195 pounds. It'll be Gibson and Mitchell. Tell me about this fight.
Well, Danny Mitchell, he's a great fighter. He's fought for Sparta in the past. He made his bare knuckle fight for BKFC a few months ago.
Yeah.
Was looking to fight again. Something came up to where he didn't have that opportunity a couple of months ago, and we talked with him and said, hey man, we'd love to have you again. We'd love to see you back in the Sparta ring. And he's such a great guy, such a talented fighter, that he's not an easy matchup. But then I spoke with this UK fighter, UK-based English fighter, who reached out to me, Ashley Gibson, and this guy said, Vern, mate, I just want to come to across the pond. I want to fight in the States. Right. I want to fight for Sparta. I want to fight in Denver. I want to fight for you guys. And he said, I don't care who you put in front of me. I'm going to give him a show. I'm going to fight him. So we've got Gibson flying in here in a couple of days.
Wow.
He's ready to step into this ring with Danny Mitchell. Those two right there, they're going to put on a great bare knuckle fight.
And I think that's great for the crowd because it's going to build. We're going to go concurrent bouts to start things off, to shoot it out of the cannon. A great preliminary card. We've gone over most of the main card. And when you get to your co-main event and you have a bare knuckle event there, fans are going to be, that place is going to be erupting at that point in time.
It's going to be a wild, wild night. Everybody's going to be going crazy. We know that we have so many great fights on this. We've got so many great fans here in Colorado. They want to see every fight, but everybody's showing up for the bare knuckle. That's what they're coming for. We've got 7 title fights throughout the entire night. We've got 6 pro fights throughout the entire night. Let me correct that is correct. 6 pro fights, 5 pro bare knuckle, 1 MMA. And I mean, this is what fight cards are meant to be. This is what combat sports is meant to be. You want to see who's the best at every, aspect of what combat sports is.
There's almost something on the line for everybody. You're talking about the number of title fights, the number of bare knuckle fights. I mean, there's a lot in almost every single one of these fights. Or if not, they're positioning themselves for the next Sparta card or the next, whether it's the King of Sparta tournament.
Absolutely. Well, nobody on fight night is going to walk away a loser. It doesn't matter who's in that cage, who's in that ring. They're going to put on a show, and the fans are going to be the biggest winners of the night. So we're going to have a great show. We're going to have a great fight, and that co-main event's just going to set us up for the main event.
All right, the main event is we talked a little bit about it at the beginning of it, and I had the pleasure of meeting one of the combatants. You can fill me in a little bit on the other because I don't know as much about him. Got to be honest here. But when you talk about Danny Wilson, I mean, this is a guy that's fought all over the world. He has fought Karchut. He's such an interesting story. But the guy is so well-rounded. And that Karchut fighting where they wrap your hands, he's very, very much into Muay Thai. He's done just about everything. He's fought some great guys.
He really has. He's fought some great guys. He made his MMA debut with us, and Dan Wilson never had much of a history as far as mixed martial arts. Right. He does come from a very, very strong background in Muay Thai. He's fought everybody in the, everywhere in the world and fought some major names and some big names and big opponents, won titles. I mean, he's done it all. He's headlining here in Colorado, for our main event against Bruce Martin. Bruce Martin, I'll give you a little bit of background on him. I had the pleasure and honor of coaching him for a little bit.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so he has fought for Sparta before. It's been a few years. He comes from a great karate background. He's a high-level, black belt in karate, and decided to switch over to mixed martial arts. And whenever he started fighting in the cage, man, I'll tell you, we didn't know what to expect from this kid because he is wild. He's out there to perform. He's out there to have a great time. He's all over the place. When he got offered this opportunity in this fight, he jumped on it and said, man, I can't wait. I've been waiting for this. This kid has fought in Wyoming. He's fought in Colorado. He's fought in Arizona. He's fought on street beefs. This kid has a good background, and he's going to give Dan Wilson a fight.
Right, these are two guys. And Wilson, by the way, goes Whiz Bang is his nickname. It's from Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
Danny Whiz Bang. So he really enjoyed that part of the interview when we were talking about it. So, I mean, he's one of those guys that said, listen, he's headlined Sparta before. He said, we got that call from you that he was going to be the headline event. He was like, man, I'm really into this one. I can't wait.
Well, Danny Whiz Bang, he's born and bred to be a main event. I mean, that guy, he's fireworks every time he gets in a ring or a cage. It doesn't matter what style of fighting it is. He's going to bring a fight. He's always full of excitement. He's always full of fireworks. And I mean, that's just what we look for. Whenever we were building this card and I was collaborating with Jeff, naturally with me fighting on it, it's such a hard thing to figure out what fight goes where. How do you place this? How do you build this? And I never strayed from one moment of looking at Dan Wilson and Bruce Martin and saying, that's not our main event. 100% I was in and saying, this is it. This is our main event right here.
Well, as we've gone through the card, I mean, I think we've shown you up and down that Sparta Sports and Entertainment, once again, is going to blow the roof off this place because we have fighters from every level that are really going to light things up. And, could be some bears fighting. You never know.
There might be some bears fighting, word has it that, Dirk Grizzler's going to be out and about and possibly in the crowd. We've got, Iron Paws Tyson who might make an appearance with Dirk Grizzler being the current champion. We want to make sure that if they do, we get those two bears locked in a cage just so they don't get too wild out there with the crowd.
Seen them around at a few sporting events as well lately. You're kind of like a little bit of another face to Sparta.
Absolutely. I mean, they've shown their face, man. They were just recently up at the Colorado Eagles hockey game in Loveland at our venue, the Blue FC Arena. They've been to the Denver Broncos, kind of supporting the hometown crowds, letting them know that they come down from the mountains to show some love, show some support before they decide to get in there and put on a bare knuckle extravaganza.
Listen, for some reason, if you cannot get up to Blue FCU Arena in Loveland, you got to get the pay-per-view for this one. It is Colorado's largest combat sports event ever. You can get it at SpartaSE.com. That's right. The pay-per-view is on SpartaSE.com. I hope to see you there, but if not, get that purchase done. Sparta Sports and Entertainment is bringing the largest combat sports event in Colorado history to Blue FCU Arena in Loveland, November 9th. Blood and Glory, Sparta 104 will feature 6 pro bare knuckle boxing matches, MMA, Muay Thai, boxing, and kickboxing. 8 title fights as well. Fight fans, we have over 30 total fights. Do not miss it. Saturday, November 9th, tickets available now at SpartaSE.com.